Did you know that Spider-Man wasn't the first human that the Venom symbiote bonded with? Nope, he bonded with Deadpool first. It's true, I'll explain later in the vid. Hi, and welcome back to the Inside of My Head, and in this video I'm looking at a few abilities that make this guy such a badass, and some weaknesses that you might not know of yet. In the next video, I'm looking at his nemesis, Carnage, so make sure you're subscribed for that. Now, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of cool creature design, so it's amazing that I haven't mentioned Venom before now. I was waiting until I'd seen Let There Be Carnage and watched it a few times, but that might not happen for a while now, so let's just get stuck right in. So let's start with a brief bit of background. Venom and the other symbiotes are a race called the Klyntar, created by this guy, and he is Knull, an ancient evil god predating the universe itself. He's kind of darkness incarnate and got all pissed off when the Celestials started to bring light into his dark realm during the process of creation. He created the first symbiote in the form of a sword of darkness, which he used to decapitate a Celestial before creating these parasites and merging them with lesser creatures. Oh look, it's Venom doggo. And sending them off to conquer the universe before the symbiotes eventually turned on him and trapped him in the core of the throne world. I might do a full video on Knull himself. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. When it comes to Venom's own backstory, apart from his role in the Kree-Skrull War, much of it is still shrouded in mystery. But let's take a look at his powers. The first thing to note is that Venom is actually one of the weaker ones of his species, so how he keeps winning all the time, well, it's kind of a mystery. But anyway, we all know that he has super strength and super speed, pretty much doing everything Spider-Man can do, and can of course shapeshift to a certain extent. But here's a few abilities that you might not know. Firstly, acidic saliva and blood. We're all very familiar with the sight of the snarling, wide-mouthed monster with razor-sharp teeth and lashing tongue, but what you might not know is that the saliva itself contains large amounts of acid to help him break down all manner of disgusting things he happens to eat. Nom nom nom. Interestingly enough, his blood also has a large acidic content as well, which, while not as powerful as the acid in a xenomorph's blood, it still makes taking this guy down extra thorny and complicated. Thorny? Secondly, ability replication. So one of the reasons our favorite alien symbiote here is so powerful is that he inherits the powers of whoever he bonds with. I guess that figures, right? This is because it's one of the fundamental attributes of the Klyntar race. That's why Venom has many abilities similar to Spider-Man, as, in the comics at least, he was one of the first ones that Venom used as a host. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the vid, Deadpool was actually the very first host that he bonded with. But quite quickly, Deadpool broke off the arrangement because he realized that the symbiote was inheriting some of his crazier traits. And wouldn't that be cool? Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, Tom Hardy as Venom in a fucking superhero crossover for the ages. Marvel Studios, here is my money, give it to me now. Now, as well as inheriting powers, they also inherit the preferences of the host. For example, Carnage, because of Cletus Cassidy's fondness for using knives and sharp weapons, prefers to form bladed shapes with his body mass, whereas Venom uses tendrils or his claws or smashing things with brute force. What the fuck? Thirdly, the symbiotes are all part of a hive mind. I would hate to be part of a hive mind just because some fucker somewhere is going to overhear that earworm song Sex Bomb. You're a sex bomb. And before you know it, it's going to be stuck in my head for weeks. Sex bomb, you're my... Fuck you, Tom Jones! So I won't say too much, but Let There Be Carnage touches on the fact that as part of the hive mind, Venom has access to, and I quote, eons of collective symbiote hive mind knowledge that spans thousands of universes and realities. Huh, intriguing. And considering the fact that Michael Keaton's Vulture is going to be appearing in Mobius, this sounds like a nod to the fact that there's going to be more crisscrossing of the storylines. So could Venom end up in Spider-Man No Way Home or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? But I'm getting sidetracked. So the hive mind gives Venom a vast wealth of knowledge based on the symbiote's prior experiences, which would undoubtedly give Venom tactical advantages in many situations. I wonder if it's also a disadvantage though? Can it be used to track Venom somehow? Can it be infected with some kind of virus that's harmful to the species as a whole, as we've seen with the Borg or countless other sci-fi collective consciousnesses? And speaking of tracking brings us on to the next ability, the fact that he can use his body parts as tracking devices. Like here, where he's trying to track this rock. Our guy can rip chunks of his black sinew off and stick them to things, and then using his mental connection with it can follow it back to its source, which is pretty damn handy. But not as handy as being able to fucking upload himself to the internet. Yep, in the 90s, our guy entered the internet on a molecular level to attack people playing his character in a video game. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with this storyline. I haven't read this one, but it sounds fun. Anyway, let me throw in one last one. It's something that happens very rarely, apparently, but the Klyntar can merge with each other and become bigger and stronger for it, as well as gaining each other's abilities. In another storyline, Venom and Eddie Brock let out a psychic screech to fight off alien invaders, a screech that was painfully felt by the symbiotes Riot, Phage, Lasher, and Agony. These things have such cool names, don't they? Who, because they didn't have hosts at the time, combined with each other in order to survive. The entity it formed was known only as Hybrid, and once bonded with his host, Scott Washington, he had to contend with all 4 personalities. Oh, a whole 4 personalities? I don't think I could possibly deal with 4 personalities. Fucking lightweight. So those are just a few of his abilities. Others including the ability to reproduce asexually by leaving some of his sloppy black goo behind, which then turns into its own life form. And this is how Carnage was created, actually. And he's also been known to bond with inanimate objects too, like this car. Yep. So let's talk real quick about Venom's weaknesses. We all know about the sound waves, the fire, electricity actually, but more often than not, in his fights with Spider-Man anyway, it's his bond with Peter Parker that's his undoing. Like that jilted lover that never got over being dumped, there's still a tiny part of him that yearns to be with Peter, and this stops him from actually killing him. So I would say that it's the big guy's sensitive side that is his biggest weakness. Okay guys, let's leave it there for now. I'll do another video on Carnage as soon as I possibly can, and if you guys are interested, I'll do one on Knull. So yeah, let me know. As usual, thank you very much for taking the time to watch my videos. I really do appreciate every comment, like, and subscribe. And until the next one, please let me invite you to get out of my head. And thank you very much for watching, and cheerio, bye!